You may remember him as the soulful singer from Team Christina on the second season of The Voice, but Jesse Campbell hasn't stopped singing since then. And now he's here to talk about his music career and life after The Voice. You don't want to miss it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to another mini spotlight where we shine a light on all the rising stars in TV, music, movies, everything. I'm your host, Morgan Willett. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Willett. Woo! And I am joined here today with Jesse Campbell. Jesse,
Yay.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you all over social media.
Instagram and Twitter, it's Sing Jesse Sing, because I sing. And also on Facebook, it's Jesse Campbell fan page. And if you want to find me on any of the other formats, or if you forget, jessecampbell.com.
That's very easy. There you go. Just go to the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's talk about your new song. Let's see. Can't Live Without Your Love. Number 27 on the charts already.
Can't live without your love.
I know. I listened to it. I was like jamming in my car to it.
Deep in love. Yes.
What was
thank
it? What was the inspiration behind that song?
Well, you know what? The producer and I, Emil Gantos, we were working on another song, and we were talking about how we have a tendency in relationships to make things harder than they need to be. Mm-hmm. And while we were taking a break, he's like, oh, let me play this other track for you. So he played it, and I loved it. And on the way home, I ended up writing this melody to it. And when we came back in the studio, I played it for him. He said, well, what would it be like if the one who made things hard in the previous relationship, what if you couldn't live without her? And I was like, couldn't live without her love. And that's how the song came about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
you get it was also a setup for the next song to come, which is called Hard.
I see what you're going for with that. Well, the music video also dropped pretty recently.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was absolutely. It was
pretty
a wonderful experience.
Steamy. I liked it.
Yeah. And we had a wonderful exclusive premiere by AOL. They premiered it for a full 24 hours, and now it's available on different formats. It's easy to find.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, what has the reaction been so far from fans who have, seen the music video, listened to the song? Have they reached out to you?
Yeah, you know what? We've not gotten one negative response. And I actually don't mind when people give me the feedback that is different from how I see it and or most people, but nothing. Even radio, those who play it, you know what I'm saying, they love it and they play it a lot. So now it's just to get other stations come on board.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so catchy. And what is kind of your musical inspiration with this sound? Are all the songs that you come out with kind of the soulful sound, or do you like to play around with different
well, the
stuff?
thing is, everything that I sing, I have to feel it. And I when I meet new producers and writers, I just say, hey, well, listen, I am an international artist who sings heartfelt, universal music with soul. Like before The Voice, I performed in about a dozen countries. But that's throughout my life. But since The Voice, 2013, I've been to 9 countries and performed before hundreds of thousands of people, and even headlined at the biggest of events, like in Belarus and Russia for GQ magazine, and even was the guest recording artist for the finale of the first season of The Voice in Vietnam. And they even offered me to be one of the sitting 4 judges of their second season.
Are you going to do it?
Well, no.
Oh, why not?
The thing is, because the economy is so different than ours, and I would have had to uproot my daughter, go all the way there, and the language.
It's far in Vietnam.
Yeah. So I feel like, just because it's gone doesn't mean it's, gone completely away. But traveling to these different countries, they would always ask, "Where's your music? Well, what do you have?" So that's how we ended up starting, to work on the album, and it's been a blessing. It's been a wonderful, awesome experience. So.
Amazing.
But the whole thing is, like, if I don't feel it, then I really can't
sing it.
And then the other thing is, it's no one real direction other than I have to feel it. Other than that, then it's really just whatever genre fits, whatever the song, the message is, then that's what I sing. But the biggest thing is, I tell them, I say, hey, whatever it is that we do together, not only do I have to feel it, but I have to be able to sing this when I'm an old man. So it's all about longevity and efficiency.
You need to tell that to everyone else out in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's about efficiency. You gotta do it until you choose to not do it anymore, or die of old age or whatever.
So depressing. It's fine. You're not going to die anytime soon.
No, even when you do it with joy because, hey, you've done your thing.
There you go. There you go. You lived your best life.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about The Voice, because I know that's really what you're well known for.
Mm-hmm.
What possessed you to even audition for it? It sounds like you were pretty successful before. You had a few albums. You've traveled to different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Why The Voice?
Well, the long and short is most of my life, I was born and raised in church, Pentecostalism. And I got to the point after singing at so many different conferences and conventions and things like that, I was like, hey, it's got to be something more to it than this. I love it, I appreciate it, but what more? And I ended up having a rock bottom experience. And at that point, I'm like, God, what happened? How did I end up at this place? Mm-hmm. And it's because I did not have the understanding of who God actually was and is, that I passed up on a lot of opportunities. But once I began to really get the understanding of who this awesome creator is, then I was like, okay, we got a lot of making up to do. So how can I reach as many people as possible in the least amount of time? Sing a reality show. So I auditioned for all of them, even went to other cities and states and auditioned, and they all told me no. So I was like, well, hey, thank you for the talent that you've given me. I'll just finish my education in spiritual psychology. How am I going to pay for that? One way is by accepting singing gigs for whatever people could afford. That was on a Sunday. Wednesday, someone called and asked me to do a mini concert on the following Sunday, but all they could afford to pay me was $75. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, absolutely not. But then something reminded me, you said whatever. I was like, I did. So I showed up that Sunday, sang 7 songs instead of 4 songs because it was just a reciprocation of love. And she allowed people to give into my hands on the way out the door, and I left with $780. And Morgan, I needed $1,600 to start school 5 days later. So that next day, someone who was in the audience called me, or someone who was there called me, and they called Mark Burnett, got him my music, and The Voice called me the very next day.
Everyone should learn a very important lesson from that.
Absolutely.
That
You gotta
is
keep
crazy.
going. You gotta keep moving. Just do what you know to do to the best of your ability, and leave the rest up to the universe to conform to your purpose and your promise. So that's kind of how that thing happened. And they were already 30 days into the 2nd season. I know, isn't that awesome?
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That is
and that
really
kind
incredible.
of favor actually continued throughout The Voice until they made a decision to send me home. But it's all about how you relate to yourself while you're in the process. That becomes the process. I was grateful, and I'm still getting things to be grateful for.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because I know it was a big controversy that season. Obviously, you picked Team Christina.
Yes.
So you're with her, and then it came down to what? Quarterfinals, right?
It was like 16. I don't know where.
Maybe quarterfinals, something like that.
I just did whatever
and
they
then,
told me whenever.
There was a surprise elimination.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. What happened? What was going through your head at the time?
Well, it was a surprise to everyone because it was a rule that hadn't been seen before or since. And I try not to talk much about it, but the fact of the matter is, any coach could send anyone from the team home for any or no reason at all. So I signed up to perform on reality TV. So it's not your choice. So my thing is, hey, I'm in this game to play it, hopefully win it, but whatever happens, it happens. But when they made the choice to send me home, I was shocked. And again, when Carson Daly put the mic up to my face, I was like, you know what? I lived a dream. I meditated and believed that I would be on a singer reality show, and it happened. I performed 5 times before over 30 million people. So I've got a lot to be grateful for, and they released me into a sea of infinite possibilities, and these possibilities are continuing to produce more, like being here with you.
Yeah.
You like that? You like that?
Well, I mean, that had to be tough. And
No, it was.
Right before you sang Halo, which was...
Yep, right after I sang Halo, and I dedicated that song to my daughter. And she was 12 years old at the time, now 17, senior, one of the top physics students in the state of California, and going away to college next year. So I'm a proud daddy. Thank you.
Very proud.
Thank you. But so we sang that song in honor of her. And right afterwards, that's when they made the choice to send me home.
I mean, that has to be rough, but looking back on it, do you think it kind of shaped who you were or who you are now as a musician, that whole experience?
That's been my life. You know, I teach my daughter, I said, baby girl, some things are beyond your control. You can't do anything about it. But the only thing that you can do in situations like that is be mindful of how you are relating to yourself. If Daddy was upset. 2 days later, I was mad as hell. I wanted to go through NBC like Jesus in the temple, kicking over tables and slapping cameras. But I came to myself. I was okay with being in that dark place. But, you know, light was supposedly birthed from dark, and I found my way up, and I just let my daughter know that, you know, it's all about how you literally relate to yourself. And look to see what I did to contribute to the success or the failure of any given situation and keep it moving. So that's kind of how I dealt with it. And, you know, I joked with them and told them, I'm going to be the first contestant to return as a judge. I'm telling you, I
Let's
feel
make it happen.
But the Voice of Vietnam, it did. I wasn't specific with the universe. So the universe is like, we got you. We're going to put you over Vietnam, all the way over there.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah. So.
All right, amazing. Well, before we wrap up, real quick, I know you do Jesseoki, which is a really fun way for fans to interact. Is that something you really, you know, make a priority, is giving back to the fans?
Absolutely. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, LA time, I go live on Facebook. And I take suggestions from people. And I started the day after the election last year.
Okay.
So it's been a year, right? And if I don't know the song, I'll take them and I'll learn them and I'll sing it. So I used to sing like for almost an hour every week. But then it started taxing my voice because I did it for 2 weeks straight. So now it's just 1 day a week.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what I do just to continue, because the voice happened as a result of me doing what I know to do and what I love to do. So even though the voice is over for myself, I continue to use my voice and share it with the world. And I reach people all over, so it's a blessing. Social media is the bomb.
It really is. It's a game changer, and it's a fun way to interact with fans.
Yes.
And so is there anything you want to, speaking of social media, this will be on social media, is there anything you want to tell your fans out there while they're watching this?
Well, hey, I am so grateful to have you all to, you know, with all of the love and light and even the support that you gave on The Voice. Bottom line is, thank you so much for your support, and follow me at jessecampbell.com. Peace.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Jesse, for coming in and talking with us.
This
Best
was
of
a lot
luck
fun.
with everything. Thank
Great
you.
Great questions, too. You're
Thank
an awesome
you.
interviewer.
Well, thank you. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this week's mini spotlight on. I'm your host, Morgan Willett. You can find me on Twitter at Morgan_Willett. See you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Buzz you later.